JETS roster grades. Let's get right into it. Like and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoy. And what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Fun NFL. Today, of course, we got the Jets roster grades. Of course, the Jets, very young team. A lot of people think they'll be decent. We'll see about that. But Justin Houston agreed to a one-year deal with the Baltimore Ravens. He's back there, 4.5 sacks last year. Either way, guys, like and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoy. Dan Snyder's testifying on Zoom, and Aaron Rodgers is being Aaron Rodgers. Let's get right into the video. Of course, as always, starting out with quarterbacks. This is not fun, I'll put it that way, in terms of grading Zach Wilson, because Zach Wilson on film was about above-average quarterback. Really. At some points he looked bad, at some points he looked really good. He has a lot of potential, I really do like him. His stats say otherwise: 2,334 yards, 9 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 55.6 completion, 44 sacks, only 7.3 yards per attempt is good because he was putting the ball downfield. 213 completions on 383 attempts. He had 29 carries for 184 yards and 4 rushing touchdowns. He did have 5 fumbles, though. In total, he had 13 total touchdowns, 12 total turnovers, so better than bad, but he still had a bad PFF grade at basically 60. And he had 2,590 total yards. In all, in terms of Zach Wilson, he's going to be decent this year. I don't think he'll be great. He probably won't be anything better than average, in my opinion. I think he'll probably be similar stats to Trevor Lawrence, but I don't, their schedule's brutal, even though they were the worst team in their division last year. They still had a brutal schedule, which is not great. So, you can see what Zach Wilson does. And of course, the backup is Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco's not bad. And he went 3-10 too. But then Joe Flacco, he started 2 games. He started 1 game. He lost that. But he threw over 338 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, he was good in that game. He does his job. Nothing much else to say about that. Of course, Mike White's a 1-game wonder. Nothing more about that. Okay, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the quarterback review. Now let's get right to the grading. Okay, of course, I'm not the biggest Zach Wilson fan. I'll be front and center with you on that, but I still think he's decent. I'll give them a C in the quarterback grade. Their depth isn't bad either. It's not just Zach Wilson. The backup's not the worst. But like I said, Zach Wilson still needs to develop. His stats said he was one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. His film says he was a little bit above average. I think Trevor Lawrence is a better option than him, to be honest with you. For that reason, I think he played better as well. So I got to give him a C here. And not only that, his situation is better than a lot of other quarterbacks, you could say. But still, I think Zach Wilson's decent, dead average. It's a little bit below average in terms of the grading, but whatever. 2.67 is 17.67 out of 30. Right? Yeah. That's Zach Wilson for you. Now it's time for the running backs. Okay, this running back room's interesting. Breece Hall, second round, first running back off the board, second round, I think. Was he first? Yeah, he was first running back off the board. In my opinion, Breece Hall is a very versatile running back. He's got good power. He's not very consistent in terms of hitting the holes right, and I don't think his cut is anything special. He doesn't cut quick a lot. He's got breakaway speed, though, so that is good. I still think Michael Carter's a better back, as much as people like Breece Hall. I think Michael Carter's a better back, in my opinion, but whatever. He was pretty productive, 4.3 yards per carry on 47 carries for 639 yards and 4 touchdowns. But he had 345 yards after contact, which are really good, shows your explosiveness. He had a 55-yard touchdown as well, a 55-yard run. 36 catches, 325 yards, no touchdowns. Pretty good in the receiving game, 65.5 catch percentage. As well as that, yards after catch, he had 341. And along with that, he had almost 1,000 yards and he had a 71 PFF grade. So good there. Of course, like I said, Tevin Coleman's behind him. Tevin Coleman's always been a productive back in the league. He's very fast. Does struggle to stay healthy, but other than that, I don't think he's the worst guy in the world. Of course, you have Ty Johnson. Ty Johnson's just a really good receiving back, in my opinion. He's probably going to be their main receiving back in that instance as well. He's very good at catching the ball and turning his head quick enough and knowing where he's supposed to go. He can catch it and run, decisively and where he's supposed to go. Very, young. Well, Tevin Coleman isn't that young, but overall, I like this back for Will. Okay, now it's time for the grading for the running backs. I'll give him a B-. I don't think it's anything special in this backfield, but it is good depth, and all those guys have a lot of potential. I don't think they probably have a bottom 5 starter, or bottom 10 starter, to be honest with you on that, though, considering there's just so many good running backs in the league at this moment. And it's not the biggest position ever. I don't think they have a good running back room, to be honest with you on that, but still. 12 plus 3.33 is 15.33 out of 20. Decent. Time for the wide receivers. Okay, starting out with Elijah Moore in this wide receiver room. Elijah Moore, of course, he got hurt. What was his injury like? I had to check his injury quick. Elijah Moore had a quadriceps injury. Oh, that makes sense. Whatever. He is very explosive. He's very good at getting over the top of the defense. He's really good with yak as well. He had 5 touchdowns, 207 yak yards, like I said. He also only had 1 drop. Very good hands. He had 62 long touchdown, of course. But like I said, if you have a guy who can be very good, you don't have to catch it really good. And I gotta say, Braxton Berrios is such a good route runner. He's so scrappy. He's kind of like Danny Amendola in that way. But not only that, he can actually run the football pretty well, too. Very elusive and fast. Corey Davis is your big physical guy. He can make big plays over the top. He's not the fastest dude in the world. He runs decent routes, doesn't have great hands, but like I said, he's that big physical dude. He can make big plays as well. Of course, Garrett Wilson, the 10th overall pick. I love Garrett Wilson. Very quick, can play that the X receiver, which is huge, because that's something they kind of lack. I mean, Corey Davis is a good X as well. Elijah Moore probably Braxton Berrios is the slot. Elijah Moore would probably be the Z. Corey Davis is going to be the X, and same thing with Garrett Wilson. But they can run 4 wide receiver sets because all those guys are really good. Corey Davis, he's not the best guy here, but he is the vet. He is their only physical receiver, to be honest with you. So that helps. Denzel Mims, Jeff Smith. I don't think they're the worst backups in the depth players in the world. Of course, Denzel Mims, he's been a disappointment in his career so far. Really does struggle to run routes efficiently, which is a big problem in the NFL. And as well as that, he's kind of like Corey Davis in that way. Corey Davis used to struggle running routes efficiently. He's gotten better at it, and for that reason, you have a big physical receiver and you have a guy who can run routes efficiently. You got to really get your receiver. That's kind of like what Corey Davis is. Okay, for wide receiver, I'll put it this way. I think it's a B receiving core. Yes, it's young, but they had a ton of flashes last year, and I do think this is a pretty darn good receiving core. It's miles better than it was with 2019 Sam Darnold. All of those guys are good receivers. The thing is, they have a receiving room, which is huge, and they have I don't know if they have a number 1 guy, but they've got Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson, who are both great. You got a really good slot guy in Braxton Berrios, and of course you get Corey Davis, the vet. I just like this receiving core a lot. It's very versatile. They have all that they need, and their depth is not bad at all. They have good depth, which is huge. I do think this is a really good receiving core. B's fair for them. That's 15.67 out of 20. Which is obviously really good. Now let's get to the tight ends. Now it's tight end time. Of course, C.J. Uzomah, the guy they signed in the offseason. With Cincinnati, he had 49 catches for almost 500 yards and a touchdown. As well as that, he had really good yak, 300 yak yardage. That's a lot of his receiving yards. Of course, he's that possession guy. He's not good vertical, I'll be honest with you in that. But he does catch the ball and make plays after the catch. He's not going to run great routes over the top. He's not that type of speed, but he's got really good spatial awareness, which is the reason he has that type of yak yardage. Suppose that he's got pretty good speed. I just don't think he runs routes well. I don't think he has bad speed, though. He had 4 drops. He doesn't have the best hands, but like I said, 55-yard long. He's pretty explosive. 62-yard PFF rank. That's just because he's just, let's be honest, not a good blocker. But a guy who is a much better blocker is Tyler Conklin. I like Tyler Conklin a lot. He had 61 catches, 593 yards, 3 touchdowns as a starting tight end here. 70.1 catch percentage, only 3 drops. 66.7 PFF grade isn't great, but I'll be honest with you, he's more of a blocking tight end. Then, of course, you have Jeremy Rucker. If this thing will load, I can talk about Jeremy Rucker, but I guess I can't because it's not going to load. I'll just have to wait. But yeah, Jeremy Rucker, where did he come out of? Oh yeah, he was a 3rd-round pick this year. At Ohio State. Now I remember this dude. He was literally the only reason that the running game for C.J. Stroud in that offense was somewhat functional because the offensive line struggled in run blocking, especially when it comes to creating penetration. But definitely, Jeremy Rucker is a good run blocker. Of course, he got hurt in the draft process, but other than that, they've got a good, decent tight end room. It could be better, but I don't think it's bad at all. Okay, for the grading of the tight end, I can't give him the B tier yet, just for the fact that Jeremy Rucker is, like, the only guy there. And, yeah, they're just solid tight ends. I don't think C.J. Uzomah is anything more than that because he's not a good run blocker. Tyler Conklin is a decent run blocker. He's not a great receiver. But overall, this is not a bad tight end at all. I think C+ is fair for them. Yeah, that's just about average, but I think they're a little bit better than that. But that's what it comes out to. That's 3, 3, 9, 12 out of 20. Not bad. Offensive line time. Okay, George Fant. George Fant's a starting level tackle. Of course, he had a 71.1 PFF grade. He only gave up 2 sacks. I mean, 1 sack, my bad. He did struggle a little bit to play stay healthy. He wasn't out there, obviously, the whole season because of Mekhi Becton. But, yeah, he's there. Then you got Connor McDermott. Connor McDermott in 6 games as a backup was decent. I got to admit, he's really good at run blocking. His pass blocking isn't bad either. He's just an all-around good backup left tackle. Lincoln Tomlinson, of course, with San Francisco, 75.9 PFF grade. He is getting up there in age, but overall, he was in the Pro Bowl last year. He's actually got a Pro Bowl. He was in the Pro Bowl last year for good reason. He's a really good guard. And then, of course, behind him is Drew Samia. We don't know much at all about Drew Samia, so that's when you got to think about. Where's Greg Van Roten? I guess he's out of here. I don't know anything about Drew Samia, though. Connor McGovern, though. Connor McGovern, he got a 75.9 PFF grade. Only gave up 2 sacks. But he gave up 4 sacks. Not great in pass protection, but I got to admit, he's really good at run blocking, which is what you kind of need for this team in center. Dan Feeney, is a good backup, like 75.9 PFF grade again. He made a lot of big plays when he needed to. Of course, Elijah Vera-Tucker, very good in run blocking. His pass blocking was very inconsistent. A lot to be desired there. But other than that, he was one of the best rookie guards in the NFL. Nate Herbig, oh gosh. Nate Herbig was an adventure, but when he was in there for Philly as a backup, he did his job really. Mekhi Becton, of course, he got hurt. Didn't he like tear his meniscus or something? Oh no, he dislocated his kneecap. That was nasty. Oh yeah. He needs to show this year that it's make or break time for him. He hasn't been healthy. He's overweight right now, but if he's not fat, he's kind of like Zion in that sense, except he doesn't have a big attitude. Mekhi Becton, don't be fat, you'll be good. Chuma Edoga, not the best backup in the world, but this Jets offensive line, you want to watch out for them because they've got a lot of young, promising players. Okay, I'm grading this offensive line. I'm giving them a B. I'll give me a B+. I like this offensive line a lot, just for the fact that, yeah, you have some questionable guys, but they're all young. They're all really good. There's not a hole in this offensive line, and the depth is actually very promising, which is huge. That's why I'm giving it a B+. I'm finding it hard to find another offensive line that's like almost as, I don't even know how to put it, not as good, I guess you could say. 8 plus 4 is 12 out of 15. That's really darn good. Okay, now for the overall offensive average. Okay, the average comes out to a B-, but the points comes out to a 76 out of 100, which that makes sense. That's C+ range. I honestly think this offense is actually C+. That might be a little bit surprising, but trust me, they're not going to be bad this year, especially with the new additions they have. They're going to be about an average offense, maybe even a little bit above average. They're going to put up points. They're going to be a good offense. Nothing much more to say about that. And the points come out, too. I do think this is an overall rounded good offense. Like, really. Okay, now for these linebackers. Middle linebackers. Yeah, never mind. This linebackers. Hamza Nasiruddin, not good. He's not good. Like, he should not be the guy making plays, but he can force fumbles. He does have really good hands. Nothing more to say about him. Deljon Phillips, of course, remember for his length. His length isn't that great anymore. He can't, like, outstretch for those tackles a lot, but other than that, he's really not that bad. C.J. Mosley, leader, of course, in this in this defense. He has progressively regressed, but he's still not a bad player. Like, he's a good middle linebacker. He does miss a lot of tackles when it comes to pass coverage, but he's never been that great in pass coverage. He's been more of the guy He's bad in zone pass coverage against running backs. He's good in man, actually. He's not that bad in man, and more importantly, he's great pursuit. Jamin Sherwood, he is the guy you need to go out there and put on a tight end because he can actually go up. He's a good height, and he's pretty athletic. He's just not physical. That's just the truth about him. He's not that strong either. He can go up and knock a ball down, but other than that, he's just like a lengthy, strong safety in a way. And then you got Quincy Williams. Quincy Williams showed a lot of promise. He did have some issues when it comes to, again, pass coverage, but other than that, I don't think he's that bad. Marcel Harris. Why do I keep forgetting who Marcel Harris is? Isn't he the guy? No, he wasn't the guy in Alabama. That was someone else. This won't load. We're gonna get right to the grading. No, never mind. 2018 6th-round pick from San Francisco. Why do I not I just blanked on? Oh wait, never mind. Yeah, he had an interception. Wasn't it against the Bengals or something? Alright, never mind. This dude is again. This guy's actually good in pass coverage. So it's kind of the opposite for these backups. Backups pretty good in pass coverage. Starters not so much. Okay, this linebacking core, I'll give him a B-. No, I can't give him that. I'll give him a C+. The depth isn't bad. They have guys that can do different jobs. But like I said, none of those guys, really anymore are, super good or, even above average. Because, yeah, I do like C.J. Mosley, but let's be honest. C.J. Mosley's a little bit washed. And Quincy Williams, yes, he's young. Yes, he has a lot of promise. But he's still Quincy Williams, and you got to still remember he's not that great. And Hampton Nasiruddin is not great. Like I said, he can be good in zone coverage, but that's really about it. And they don't, none of those guys are great at, off the edge either on blitzes. But this isn't the worst in the world. It's definitely, I'd definitely be okay with it. And I'd be satisfied with it as well. But it's definitely nothing special. You got to keep that in mind, too. So that's 12 out of 20. Not the best, not the worst. Time for the defensive line. Okay, we're forgetting about pass rush for a little while, but we can still talk about it because Carl Lawson, of course, he tore his Achilles in preseason last year or in training camp. Didn't play the whole year. That really did put a plague on this team. They definitely suffered without him. But overall, he's a really good pass rusher. Sheldon Rankins, really good on the inside. He's not much of a pass rusher anymore. He kind of lost that. He had one season, I think it goes back in 2019, where he was good in getting after quarterback, but that's really about it. He's more of an inside guy that can make moves and get to the running back quickly, and of course, bounce him outside. Nathan Shepard, not a bad backup. He is really actually good with finesse moves. His one problem is he can get pushed a little bit, which is kind of a problem when you're on the inside. But of course, Quinn Williams, he was a 3rd overall pick for a reason. He's been an adventure to say the least, but overall, he was a good pick. There's nothing more to say. Solomon Thomas is a bust, but overall, I wouldn't say you couldn't really complain of him as a backup. Tanzo Smart, of course, former Ram, got cut. He's been okay since then. John Myers, arguably the best player on this team, not even joking. He makes so many plays that are just you need to make, especially, when he is in 5 tech, there aren't many guys that are better than him there. Especially, even if you needed to. If you put him on 9 tech, he's good there too. But 5 and 9 are his real strong suits. On that right shoulder of that guard or the left shoulder of the tackle, he's really good there. Of course, Vinny Curry, he's been successful veteran. He gets hurt a lot, though. That's one problem. Bryce Huff, really good at setting the edge. That's literally all he does, though, because he just cannot finish. He just does not set the quarterback. Jermaine Johnson, biggest steal in the draft, in my opinion. 1st-round pick, number 26. Of course, he was 4 to 6 best defensive player. Very good off the edge. I don't think he has many moves, though. His best move, of course, is that spin move. Very lethal. His scissors move isn't great, though. His second hand is not perfect. But other than that, he's a really good pass rusher. Okay, for this defensive line, I'll give him a B+. That's more pass rush, but I'll still keep it at a B+, just for the fact that the defensive line as a whole is really good. I do like their depth. It's more pass rush, kind of got into it, but whatever. We'll get back into it. The actual defensive line as a whole, though, is really good. They can do a lot of stuff really well as a group. It's definitely probably their lines are the reason people have any hope for them, to be honest with you on that. But like I said, it's good. It's really good. So that's, again, it's 12 out of 15. That's fair. Time for the pass rush. I've kind of already got into it, but yeah. Carl Lawson, we don't know if it'll be the same, though. That's the one problem. He is supposed to be their number 1 pass rusher. Worst case, they have John Franklin Myers, who's very, very good at getting after the quarterback. Throw him out there as well. Jermaine Johnson, Vinny Curry, both can do that. In the inside, Solomon Thomas, he can do that once in a while. Nathan Shepard, kind of. Quentin Williams, though, he's their pass rusher on the inside. He's the guy that gets penetration. He's the guy that helps out the edge guys. He's the guy that makes he's the guy who kind of runs it, as well as John Franklin Myers. But yeah, it's a good pass rush, good depth, young, and I really do like it. Here's the one I think they're better in run defense than they are in pass rush. And to be honest, none of those guys are super established. Like, yeah, John Franklin Myers is really good, but that's kind of it, and you can't just have one guy there. I do think this is a really good pass rush, though. I would not be surprised by the end of the season if they're top 5 in sacks, pressure rate, win rate, all that crap. I would not be surprised if they're there. This is a good, solid pass rush. They're going to get after the quarterback. How about this weaker secondary? I'll put it that way. So 16 plus 3.67 is 19.67 out of 25, which is really good. Time for cornerbacks. Of course, these cornerbacks are a lot better than they used to be because DJ Reed, the free agency acquisition from Seattle, he's very good in zone coverage. He does not get beat a lot. The one problem is, though, he can get a little bullied in jump balls. Sauce Gardner, the 4th overall pick for a reason. Very good. There's not much to really complain about. I got to admit, there's one thing that I was going to say. He's got to be a little more aggressive. There's a reason he doesn't get as many interceptions. It's just the fact he's not super aggressive. He's a little more aggressive, he'll be better. It's not this. I think he's got a lot of confidence. It's just the fact he doesn't really want to get into it as much, which is kind of a problem when you're the starting corner on a team. And then, of course, Michael Carter started last year with Bryce Hall. They're both bad. Like, they're just bad players. Brandon Echols is a good slot nickel guy, but other than that, the rest of these guys are kind of crap. Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed better be good because other than that, they don't have a good cornerback room. Okay, cornerbacks, I gotta give them a C+, just for the fact that, yeah, they have DJ Reed, Sauce Gardner. They have no depth, and I don't think DJ Reed and, Sauce Gardner are gonna be perfect, because Sauce Gardner is a rookie. And even Jalen Ramsey is the best cornerback in the NFL. He's been the best cornerback in the NFL ever since he came in, for a reason. But his rookie season, he was not a superstar. And I don't think Sauce Gardner will be either. He's going to give up a couple touchdowns. I wouldn't be saying big plays, but he's going to give up catches. Same thing with DJ Reed. That's the reason I don't think they're going to be that great of a cornerback room this year. Next year they will be, though. Good. This is a more developing cornerback room because they were so bad last year, but this is not a bad cornerback room by any means. I just think they have a lot to do to develop, but other than that, they're good. So C+, that's, 9. 9 plus 3 is 12 out of 20. Decent. Time for the safeties. Okay, for the safeties, LaMarcus Joyner. Oh, gosh, LaMarcus Joyner's an adventure because he's just not good anymore. That's just the truth. Like, he was elite for the Rams in 2018. He was decent in 2019, but he hasn't been good since. Not your typical, he's not your typical strong safety. He's probably better at free safety, but he can make tackles. That's why he's there. And Jordan Whitehead, no offense to Jordan Whitehead, but he's just slow. Like, that's just the truth about it. He's just not fast. He is good at, I gotta admit, he is good at picking up, getting on his horse, and he's pretty explosive, too. He's just not that fast. Like, you don't want him being that one-high guy because he will get beat. That's kind of the reason that Carson Wentz threw up some balls against them in Week 12 against the Bucs. If you watch that's kind of the reason because it worked once. They tried to do it again. It didn't, but whatever. Ashton Davis is a good slot corner. He's pretty versatile. I don't think he's the best in terms of pursuit or tackling, but kind of because he doesn't hit consistently, like the right part of the body consistently. Kind of why. Elijah Riley, if I can pull him up, that was his first season in the league last year. Of course, played for Army. Very disciplined player, obviously coming out from Army. But not only that, he can make a lot of tackles, and he also can play over the top. He's just not a ball hawk, obviously. Will Parks, of course, former backup safety for the Broncos. He's bad. He's just bad. That's the truth. So, overall, this is not the best safety room in the league. Okay, for the safeties, I'm not going to lie. I can't give them the D range, but I'll put them in C-. They're, I watched them film on them. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of disappointed. But the depth is there. They have experience. They do their jobs. And more importantly, it's not the worst in the world. It's just, none of those, Jordan Whitehead, LaMarcus Joyner, they're just not great starters. That's just the truth about it. So C- at 2.33 plus 9. That's 11.33 out of 20. Let's get over to the overall defensive grade. So this is kind of tricky, but the grades actually says it's a B-. or my bad, a C plus. In the range says it's a D plus. They're both wrong. I think they're like a C defense. They're going to be average. Like, they do have a lot of talent, but this secondary isn't anything special. Yeah, they have some good players in the secondary, but it's not great. And this is, like I said, more of a run-blocking unit, and their linebackers are not good. They haven't been that good. I do think they're average. Like you have veterans, a couple guys established, and Quincy Williams I do like. This is a defense I do like, but you can't expect them to be anything more than this because that's really what they've been. If you didn't know, they had 67 out of 100. They really just haven't been that great in a while. That's just the truth about it. They've been good in run defense. They've been good in pursuit. They've been good in terms of not giving up a ton of yardage in the red zone. But in all, they were the worst defense in the NFL last year. I don't think they're going to be that bad this year. But you can't, you have to kind of damper the expectations. And overall, the talent on this defense is not, it's good, but it's not elite. Time for the special teams unit. Okay, now for the special teams unit. Braden Mann, he's been a good punter since he got in the NFL. He was like a draft pick, I think. Eddie Pinheiro, bad kicker. Greg Zarline, good kicker. Braxton Berrios, good returner. Thomas Hennessy, bad long snapper. Okay, so this special teams unit is kind of like good, then bad, bad, then good, back and forth. I think they're above average in total because they do have some good players, especially their backups that can make tackles on special teams. They really haven't been that bad on special teams. I just don't think they've ever been that great, in honesty. So that's why I give them a C+. So that's 3 plus. That's 6 out of 10. Not bad, not bad. Great. Time for the depth. Okay, for this overall depth. Quarterback depth, C, B+. No, B. Running back depth, A. Wide receiver depth, A. Tight end depth, B-. Offensive line depth, B+. Offensive depth, B. Linebacker depth, B-. Defensive line depth, B, actually A-. Pass rush depth, B+. Quarterback depth, F. Safety depth. I'll give them a C+. Defensive average depth, like a B-. So overall, this actually is good depth. I think a B- would be fair for them. Their depth is not bad. Trust me on this. The Jets will be able to survive if they lose, I don't know, Michael Carter or George Fant or something like that. They'll be okay. So we put that all in mind. B-. That comes out to a 3.33 plus 16 is 19.33 out of 25, which is really good. Time for the overall grade. Okay, it's 168 out of 235, which comes out to a C+. But in my humble opinion, I think this is just about an average roster. It actually does come out fair, though. That's the thing. I think it does come out fair. I do think, in terms of points, they are a little bit above average roster. But let's be honest, they do not. Last year they had a D roster. The year before they had an F roster. They're steadily improving. I cannot tell you with a straight face after what I've seen that this is a above average roster. I think C is fair for them. It's not a bad roster. It's better than a lot of other quarterbacks can say, which is huge. Good job, Jets. You're starting to build a chemistry, which is huge. C for you. Hope you guys enjoy. Like and subscribe. See you in the next one.
It is to Aaron Jones trying to turn the corner. He does. Touchdown, Packers.